Mesopotamia, located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, witnessed a dynamic history spanning over 10,000 years. The Sumerians kick-started the action, laying the foundation for subsequent civilizations. Akkadians, Babylonians, and Persian Achaemenians took turns in the historical spotlight until Alexander the Great and the Seleucids arrived in the 4th century BCE. The Parthians ruled until the 7th century CE when Muslim Arabs transformed the region. The Mongol invasion in 1258 marked a downturn, and the Ottoman Empire stepped in from the 16th century onwards. Then in 1920, the British introduced a mandate, setting the stage for the birth of Iraq in 1921. In terms of archaeological methods, scholars use relative and absolute chronology. Relative chronology helps establish the order of events, akin to reading a story in layers of excavation. Absolute chronology, employing radiocarbon dating and historical records, provides precise dates. This combined approach enables a detailed understanding of Mesopotamian history, dividing it into distinct periods defined by culture and trends. In ancient times, Mesopotamia experienced significant developments during the Pre-Pottery Neolithic A and B periods. People transitioned from nomadic lifestyles to settled farming communities, experimenting with agriculture and animal domestication. Göbekli Tepe, an ancient structure, emerged as a notable focal point for gatherings or events. The Chalcolithic period showcased Mesopotamia as a cultural melting pot. Various groups, like the Halaf, Hassuna, Samarra, and Ubaid, each with unique characteristics, contributed to the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian culture. The region served as an early mixing bowl of diverse cultures and ideas, with each group leaving its mark on the developing civilization. The Urak period, named after the city of Urak, was a crucial phase in Mesopotamian history, spanning from the 34th to 32nd centuries BCE. During this time, urban life in the Sumerian civilization began to take shape. One significant development was the gradual evolution of cuneiform script, a major breakthrough in written communication. The late Urak period, often called the Proto-Literate period, corresponds to the early Bronze Age and set the stage for the prosperous civilizations that followed in Mesopotamia. Following the Urak period, the Jemdet-Nasr period, from 3100 to 2900 BC, showcased distinctive pottery with geometric and figurative designs. Cuneiform writing saw further refinement, and settlements became highly organized, emphasizing local agriculture and pastoralism. These characteristics indicated extensive contacts and trade during this era. The subsequent early dynastic period, 2900 to 2350 BC, witnessed the rise of complex societies with advanced political structures. City-states like Kish, Uruk, Ur, and Lagash competed for power, engaging in monumental building projects. Although the chronology of this period is uncertain, various rulers, such as Shakashana and Eonatum of Lagash, conquered parts of Sumer, only to see their empires crumble due to rebellion. Lugalamundu of Adab briefly established an empire to the west of Mesopotamia. The Akkadian language gradually replaced Sumerian during the 3rd millennium BC, and the Akkadian Empire, led by Sargon, extended its influence from the Persian Gulf to Syria. Akkadian became a lingua franca while Sumerian continued to be used in written records. However, the Akkadian period faced decline, particularly after the reign of Naram-Sin, as it confronted invasions by the Gudi people. The Ur3 period, spanning from 2112 to 2004 BC, was a significant era under the rule of Ur-Nammu and Shulgi. During this time, the Ur3 Empire was founded, achieving state control over various industries. It is also believed that the Code of Ur-Nammu, one of the earliest known legal codes, was introduced during this period. However, around 2000 BC, the power of Ur began to decline, and the Amorites and Elamites rose to prominence. The Amorites, along with the Elamites, became influential in the region, leading to a decline in Ur's power. Assyria managed to remain free from Amorite control until the end of the 19th century BC. This marked the end of city-states ruling empires in Mesopotamia and the waning dominance of Sumerian influence. Nevertheless, succeeding rulers in the region continued to adopt many aspects of Sumerian civilization. Moving into the 2nd millennium BC, the Old Assyrian period saw early rulers like Tidia and Adamu engaging in trade and establishing the city-state of Ashur. Elishama, a powerful king during this time, raided southern Mesopotamia and established colonies in Asia Minor, setting the stage for the historical rivalry between Assyria and future Babylonia. The Ur3 period, in the early 20th to 19th centuries BC, witnessed Amorite dominance in the southern part of Mesopotamia. Ur and Larsa competed for control during this time. In 1894 BC, Babylonia was founded by Sumuabum, although it was initially overshadowed by stronger states. However, Hammurabi, an Amorite ruler, rose to power and turned Babylon into a major political and cultural center. He is particularly famous for his law code, known as the Code of Hammurabi, which became a landmark in ancient legal history. Hammurabi's conquest helped establish Babylonia as a significant power in Mesopotamia. The Middle Assyrian period, commencing around 1720 BC, was a time of significant political change in Mesopotamia. During this era, the Assyrians, under the leadership of Ashur-uballit, expelled the Amorites and Babylonians from Assyria. They successfully overthrew the Mitanni Empire, establishing a powerful Assyrian empire that came to dominate Mesopotamia and the broader ancient Near East. Following this, the Kassite dynasty took control of Babylon, ruling for over 4 centuries, from approximately 1650 to 1155 BC. Although Babylonia maintained its independence during this period, it did not wield significant power in the region. The Kassites faced challenges from Elamite and Assyrian domination, ultimately leading to the end of their rule. Around 1600 BC, the Hurrians settled in northwestern Mesopotamia, founding the Mitanni Empire. Simultaneously, the Hittites, an Indo-European people, rose to power in Asia Minor, creating tensions and conflicts with the Assyrians. The Bronze Age collapse in the 12th and 11th centuries BC marked a tumultuous period characterized by invasions, upheavals, and the emergence of new peoples across the Near East and North Africa. In Mesopotamia, historical records became scarce during this time, contributing to a limited understanding of the events and transitions that occurred. The Neo-Assyrian Empire, which emerged under the reign of Adad-nirari II in 911 BC, became the world's largest and most powerful empire until its fall in 612 BC. During its peak, the empire, under rulers like Ashurnasirpal II, Shalmaneser III, and Tiglath-Pileser III, conquered extensive territories, including Egypt, Babylonia, Elam, Media, Persia, Phoenicia, and parts of ancient Greece. The Neo-Assyrian Empire reached its zenith as a dominant force in the ancient world. Following the collapse of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, the Neo-Babylonian Empire emerged. This transition occurred after a series of civil wars and the fall of Nineveh in 612 BC. Babylon, led by Nabopolassar, rose to prominence and established the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The empire reached its pinnacle under the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, known for his construction projects, including the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon. However, in 539 BC, Babylon fell to Cyrus the Great of Persia, marking the end of the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the beginning of Persian dominance in the region. In the aftermath of Babylon's fall, Mesopotamia experienced a shift to Achaemenid rule. Assyria and Babylonia continued to play significant roles, providing manpower and economic resources for the Achaemenid Empire. This period, starting from the 6th century BC onwards, marked the influence of the Persian Achaemenids in the region. In 330 BC, Alexander the Great conquered Mesopotamia, ushering in a period of Hellenistic rule that endured until the weakening of the Seleucid Empire. The subsequent Parthian Empire, which lasted until the 3rd century AD, gave way to the Sasanian period. During this era, Mesopotamia saw the introduction and spread of Christianity and Mondaism, particularly flourishing in Assyria. Neo-Assyrian kingdoms, such as Adiabene, also emerged during this time. In the 7th century AD, Mesopotamia experienced the Arab-Islamic conquest led by the Rashidun army, with Khalid ibn al-Walid playing a prominent role. This conquest brought about significant demographic changes, including an influx of non-native Arabs and later Turkic peoples. Despite the political changes, the city of Assur persisted until the 14th century, and Assyrians continued to be a substantial population in northern Mesopotamia throughout the Middle Ages. The Arab-Islamic conquest left a lasting impact on the cultural and religious landscape of the region. The Assyrian Church of the East and the Syriac Christian tradition flourished, preserving Mesopotamian Aramaic as a significant language. The Mandeans, followers of an ancient Gnostic religion, also maintained their distinct religious traditions. Furthermore, traditional Mesopotamian names remain common among the people, showcasing the endurance of cultural elements amid the political transformations. This period demonstrates the resilience of certain cultural and religious practices, highlighting the continuity of Mesopotamian heritage even in the face of historical shifts and conquests.